lot of theater when I was in college, and my junior year of college, our drama club put on Pippin. And I was making the costumes for the show, and I was also in it. So the week before the show, so thankfully at this point all the costumes were done, we're rehearsing and we're doing this dance number, and the choreographer says, you know, I want the movements to be really sharp, so really fling your arms out at this point. And so we're doing this final week of rehearsals, and I fling my arms out, and my left arm does not feel good. And I didn't hit anything, but it's hard for me to bend it now, and it's getting swollen. It's just this odd thing. So I go home for the night, and I think I'll wake up in the morning and it'll be fine. I wake up in the morning, it's hugely swollen and black and blue. So I called student health and tried to make an appointment. And they said, well, what did you hit? And I said, nothing. They were like, well, then it can't really be hurt. So just put some ice on it and go to class. So I went to class, and I came back, and my arm is just killing me. So I go down to student health, which is in the basement of the dorm that I live in. And the doctor, nurse, whoever it was that saw me just refused to acknowledge the possibility that there was something wrong with my arm, even though they're seeing it's swollen and it's black and blue. I didn't hit it into anything, so it just can't be hurt. So they say, well, why don't you go over to the hospital and just buy a sling? I'm like, at the gift shop? Like, where do you buy a sling? At the hospital? But they're like, just go to the hospital, they'll be able to tell you. So I went to school at Georgetown, and there are tunnels all under the campus. There's actually a rumor that some president in the 1800s used the tunnels to get down to the Potomac to escape an assassination attempt. I don't know if this is true or not, but so there's a tunnel that goes from student health underneath a big parking lot and over to the hospital. I've never been in it before because you're not really supposed to be in the tunnels without some kind of permission. But she's like, just to go through this tunnel, and she points me in the direction, opens the door, and sends me in there, and the door closes behind me. And the tunnel is, you know, lit by fluorescent lights, but it's pretty dim. It's really long, and it's empty of people, but it's lined with hospital beds. And I start down, and I am just getting more and more creeped out. And this tunnel is really big. But at a certain point, you know, whether I keep going or turn around, it's the same distance. So I make it through the tunnel, I push on, and I emerge into the hospital, and I go to the gift shop to try to buy a sling for my arm. And they're like, we don't sell slings in the gift shop. You know, it's just full of like balloons and cards and teddy bears. So they send me to the emergency room to see if I can buy a sling there. So I'm explaining the story to the registrar, I guess, and as I'm explaining the story, that I was in a dance rehearsal, and you know, they had us fling our arms out. Of course, I didn't demonstrate, but they had us fling our arms out, and all of a sudden my arm just hurts. This man comes over and says, "Come with me." And I'm a little freaked out. I'm like, I'm just trying to buy a sling. Can't I just buy a sling? That's what they told me at student health. So he's the director of the emergency room. He's heard the story, and he is super angry that student health didn't believe me, that they didn't really examine me, that they didn't send me over there for an x-ray. So he sends me for an x-ray. I've in fact chipped a bone in my arm. Evidently this happens more frequently with martial arts than dancing, but you can in fact put so much exertion into your movements that you chip a bone without hitting it into something. So, you know, fits me with a sling after determining what in fact has happened, and then called student health to yell at them. So we all got a little bit hurt that day.